I stood here for 1 full hour targeting short-headed barbel, searching and trying things out, and I finally found success. So yes, the short-headed barbel is running here at this spot. Not in huge numbers, but it is running consistently. And I think after 1 hour, the silver so far is already quite decent. Yeah, this right here is a spot that Zadio posted on the English-speaking Discord, and it actually works really well at this location. And all of that with a pop-up rig. And that is already something a bit special, because normally we fish for short-headed barbel or barbel in general, best with a basic bottom fishing rig or with the classic hair rig. And here on a pop-up rig, simply with green corn. That is of course something quite special. So yes, this actually works quite well. Of course, this is not a fish where you just casually catch 30, 40, 50 fish in 1 hour. The short-headed barbel is still rare. And as you could just see, yes, other fish do of course also move into this spot. But despite all that, we still keep finding the short-headed barbel again and again. And all of that on very simple corn. Just corn. That is really nice. What do we have here? The next short-headed barbel. Of course, I have to test again and keep experimenting. This is now the first short-headed barbel. I just set it up using shell corn. In this case, not green corn, but yellow. And that also seems to work. So, straight back out with the cast, and let's see if this continues to work here as well. So, 2 rods are now on green shell corn. 1 rod is currently on yellow shell corn, but only for a short time so far. And now, of course, the question is, will this continue like this? Can you maybe get a bit more out of this spot than just short-headed barbel, or maybe even marble carp? This is what it looks like right now. And that is actually already quite good, considering how simple this setup is. And yes, in terms of silver, this will also turn out really well, because the short-headed barbel is simply worth it in terms of silver, especially the larger ones with 5 or 6 kilograms. That is really good, and that is exactly why I'm just standing here on the side as well. This is ideal for AFK fishing. You watch a few videos, keep your rods in the water, and every now and then you catch another short-headed barbel. So this is something you can do very comfortably on the side, earning silver along the way. And of course, you also still have the chance for a trophy, because if we look into the weekly records, this spot is actually really popular. There are also really good sizes here. 17 to 18 kilograms, that is super good for fishing for short-headed barbel. And here you can also see the 2 trophies from Zadio. So once again, thank you very much for sharing this on Discord. Stuff like this really helps. These kinds of posts help the community to test things like this because it is actually quite unusual. From the position, this should of course be well known. I am standing here at 5185. Those are the coordinates, and I am casting 15 meters toward that tree. So a 15-meter line clip. This is down here in this area, and then it goes straight across into this depression. We are basically at the end of this trench. And you could of course also vary this. You can also set it to 12 meters. And then maybe after 1 hour, you adjust again and go to 15 or 16 meters. That way you have the option to fish this spot for a much longer time. That means in the first hour you fish more in the near range, and in the second hour you fish a bit further back, then maybe around 16 or 17 meters. I'm curious how the weather will affect this now. Just a moment ago, it was still more cloudy and not fully sunny. And now we are about to get that very typical Achtuba weather. Normally it is sunny and relatively warm at the Achtuba, and cloudy or rainy days are rather rare. But despite that, there are always very good results when it is rainy or cloudy here at the Achtuba. Then you sometimes get really good results for short-headed barbel. So let's see how this develops now, and whether a few really big short-headed barbel move into the spot. All right, what do we have on the line now? Another short-headed barbel? Or maybe something else again? Nope, common carp. I do not really want that, but of course I will take it anyway. So straight back out again, calmly to 15 meters, and then let's see what else happens. Yeah, and what is still missing? The ground bait, of course. So we will of course also take a look at the ground bait, and of course at the setups. I am fishing relatively small here. If you are specifically targeting large short-headed barbel, you can absolutely use a 1/0 or 2/0 hook. Right now, I'm just using a size 1 hook for testing to see what kinds of fish are even present at the spot. So just the size 1 hook, and of course, only with the pop-up rig with green shell corn, or in this one setup here with yellow shell corn. As ground bait, I'm currently using the original sturgeon ground bait mix. And this is of course a mix that you can use not only for sturgeon fishing. It was already seen recently in the kutum video. So this also works for kutum and also from time to time for short-headed barbel. And this is what the ground bait looks like, based on rapeseed. Then there is freshwater mussel in it, which in English is called zebra mussel. There are chopped worms in it, clay, dried krill, crab, and mussel as the flavor. And if you want to push this even more toward mussel, you can simply leave out the krill and maybe add more mussel feed pellets, and that way shift the whole mix even more toward mussel. Yeah, I will of course also take a look into the net in a moment to see how much silver this has brought in so far. But despite that, I will of course keep fishing here a bit longer. And I will pull out a few more fish, hoping that even more, and especially much larger short-headed barbel will move in. Well, maybe by now is only common carp left here, and the short-headed barbel will bite again more toward the evening and morning hours, which would actually be quite typical for barbel. That is why I will keep testing a bit longer, and then I will also fade in the image from the fish market to see whether fishing here was worth it. So yeah, that is it for this spot. Just test it out. Very simple, only with a pop-up rig. Thanks again for sharing this on Discord. We will see each other in the next video. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, tight lines.